Some massive games in the top four race, the race for Europe and the race to stay up. Welcome back to the woodwork. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today is a preview for Premier League Game Week 28. I'm used to doing reviews on this channel, but we're going to do a preview this time looking ahead to this weekend's fixtures. And instead of order of importance, we're going to do it in order of, time. So chronological order for the fixtures this time. So we're going to start with Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. Now this is quite a big game for a 12:30 kickoff, to be honest with you. Now Forest sit in third, 2 points clear of fifth place Chelsea, but Man City only 1 point behind Forest and only 1 point above Chelsea in fourth place. Both are going to want to try and cement their places into the top four by the end of the weekend. Now this is a massive game, and both teams are still in the FA Cup, so they're going to want to look forward to their respective games as well. I think Forest got Brighton and City got Bournemouth, I'm pretty sure. But I think Man City's form of late hasn't been great, especially away from home. Only 2 Premier League away wins this calendar year so far. And I think it's going to stay that way, with Nottingham Forest getting a point out of them. I think it's going to finish 1-1. Now we look ahead to tomorrow's 3 o'clock kickoff, starting with Liverpool against Southampton, top against bottom in the Premier League. Now, I think this is going to be very one-way traffic. Liverpool will have the chance to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League table to 16 points, with Arsenal playing on Sunday. And they come up against a Southampton side who are a whopping 13 points from safety. And I just don't think they're going to get anything out of this game, nowhere near it. And I think I might be a bit generous when I predict Liverpool 5, Southampton 0. That's what I'm predicting for this game. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Next up, we have my team, Crystal Palace against Ipswich at Selhurst Park, 3 o'clock kickoff as well. Now, I think that this is actually going to be a closer game than people are anticipating, purely because of Jean-Philippe Mateta not being available after his horror injury in the FA Cup last weekend against Millwall. And we're going to have to rely on Eddie Nketiah up front, who has proved himself over the last couple of games, scored against Villa in the league and scored against Millwall in the FA Cup. He's not been bad lately, but I think when we get the chances, he might have to have a little more to convert. I think if we have Mateta up front, we might be able to beat them 3-4-1. I do think Ipswich will score, but I think we will end up winning slightly. Palace 2, Ipswich 1. Chance to get up to the progressive pack. And when it comes to Ipswich, I just think they look quite shaky at the back. And even with Nketiah up front, I think we will be able to get past Ipswich and make the relegation talk, if there is any at this point, even less. Next up, we have quite a close game at the Amex between Brighton and Fulham. 8th against 9th in the Premier League table. Both are trying to hunt down Europe this season. Now, I just cannot call this one. I genuinely can't. Fulham's record against Brighton is really good at the moment. And I thought that if it was at Craven Cottage, then I might give the edge to Fulham. But with Brighton being at home, there may be a slight factor. And I can only see this being a 1-1 draw again. I think 1-1. Next up, we have quite another close game between Brentford and Aston Villa. This is the 5:30 kickoff tomorrow. Now, look, again, it's 11th versus 10th. And as much Villa won 3-1 at Club Brugge in the Champions League, their away form in the Premier League is quite disappointing for them. And I know that they're trying to, juggle the Premier League and the Champions League, and that can be used as an excuse, to be fair. But they're going to a Brentford team who have quite a solid home record. It's just the way that's a bit of an issue for Brentford. So I don't think this will end a draw, even though in the Premier League table it is quite tight. I'm going to go Brentford 2, Aston Villa 1. And if there is any more talk about relegation, I think this is where it's going to end. Wolves versus Everton, 3-2 Wolves. The reason why I'm saying this is because Wolves' home form, it's not bad. All right, they did lose to Fulham in the week. I think that was the last time they played at home. It was a week and a half ago. But their 2-0 win against Aston Villa that they grinded out and whatever. And I know Everton have been playing quite well under David Moyes. But I think this is where the small relegation talk will end. Basically sentencing Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton to relegation again, to be honest with you. I just think that Wolves will get the job done on Saturday night against Everton. Next up, we move to Sunday's games and we start at Tottenham. Tottenham against Bournemouth, to be precise. Now, Tottenham, I think, are going to be focusing on the Europa League massively now after their 1-0 defeat to AZ Alkmaar last night. So they want to try and, come back in the second leg on Thursday the 13th. Could be an unlucky day for them. But when it comes to Bournemouth, they are fighting for Europe, and I think I can only see this going one way. It's surprising. I wouldn't have predicted this a couple of years ago, but I'm going to predict Tottenham 1, Bournemouth 2. I just think Bournemouth will go to Tottenham and get a good result and show as to why they should be in Europe next season. And for Spurs, I think their embarrassing Premier League season will continue. Next up, we have Chelsea versus Leicester. Now, I'm sorry, Leicester look awful. They really do. I think because of how bad Southampton have been this season, Leicester aren't really being looked at. And since Ruud van Nistelrooy's come in, what has he actually done? I've said this a few times on this channel now. But Chelsea got the 2-1 win against Copenhagen over the line in the Conference League. They look a little bit more confident. They got the 3-0 win against Southampton, or was it 4-0? Something like that. About a week and a half ago, and I think it will be a similar scoreline here, and I predict Chelsea 3, Leicester 0, with Chelsea trying to also stay in the top 4 race. Next up, we probably have the most interesting game of the week, with Manchester United being at home to Arsenal. Now, as embarrassing as Manchester United's season has been, this to me looks like a classic Arsenal bottle job yet again. And if the title wasn't Liverpool's already, then this will just basically solidify it. Even though Manchester United won't really want Liverpool to win the league because of their bit of rivalry themselves, I think they will get a point against Arsenal. I really do. It just seems like classic Arsenal. Beat PSV 7-1 in the Champions League round of 16, but they'll go to Old Trafford and not win. I think they will draw 1-1. And the last game on Monday night, which I believe is a bit of a nothing game really, between West Ham and Newcastle. Now, when it comes to West Ham, they are safe. I think they're 16, 17 points clear of the bottom 3. Yeah, I think they are. And with Newcastle, even though they're 6th and they want to try and get Europe, they're in the Carabao Cup final next Sunday, and with their injuries to Lewis Hall in mind, you know, and Anthony Gordon being suspended, I think Newcastle are not going to risk much and play maybe a bit of a B team against West Ham, as surely a weaker side. And with West Ham, do they look that dangerous under Graham Potter? Not really. I think this will be a dire 0-0 game for Monday Night Football. If Newcastle won in the Carabao Cup final when they had the Premier League left to fight for, then yeah, fine. I think Newcastle win that. But with the Cup final in mind, 0-0. I really do think so. So guys, that is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed the preview. And what do you think of my scores? Let me know in the comments below. You can see my Palace content on my own channel, Palace by Mason. Link will be in the description. I'll be releasing my Palace versus Ipswich vlog, which was the game that I predicted on here. I'll be releasing the vlog for that tomorrow night. So if you want to have a look at that, please do. And subscribe to my channel as well. And most importantly, like, share, subscribe to The Woodwork. And I will see you guys very soon.